In this edition of Your Alberta Online, Premier Ed Stelmach on the way forward. Summer highway construction season wraps up. And a helping hand for Alberta's homeless. Now, here's your host, Kim Missick.
Welcome to Your Alberta Online, a regular webcast to help you stay connected to Alberta government news and events. First up today, the Alberta Legislature is back in session, and Premier Ed Stelmach tells Your Alberta Online that the focus will be to move ahead on key issues important to Albertans.
It has been a very busy summer because we did a lot of traveling through Alberta, not only through the ministerial tours, but I traveling personally to all corners of the province and listening to many Albertans in preparation for the fall session. And what I heard is that as we proceed with our healthcare legislation this fall, putting its patient focus, putting people first, it was something that Albertans talked a lot about. Talked a lot about the renewal of the infrastructure, continuing to build new roads, new hospitals, new schools. Exciting news in Grand Prairie and Lethbridge with the addition of the cancer vaults and in Red Deer as well, providing some equity in terms of treatment of Albertans' healthcare provision across the province.
The Premier calls the reclamation of a former oil sands tailings pond an historic achievement and part of government's effort to move the industry towards elimination of the ponds.
It was definitely inspiring and in many ways breathtaking, because when you look at the expanse of 220 hectares, which is a huge area, and to see that the vegetation is coming back, animals are coming back, we saw some huge deer tracks through the grass, and insects there, owls and hawks back. So, it shows what can be done through investment in research and technology, and driving the issue in partnership with the oil and gas industry. So that was very rewarding. There's still a lot of work to be done. Obviously, we've had another incident with ducks. But when you look at how much has been accomplished in a short period of time, we know that we will meet our targets of dry tailing ponds, eliminating tailing ponds in the future.
Well, the snow has already hit the ground in most parts of Alberta, and that means summer road construction season is starting to wrap up. A lot of progress was made this year on major projects such as the Edmonton and Calgary ring roads, twinning Highway 63 in the northeast and Highway 43 in the northwest, as well as safety improvements to interchanges on the QE2, all with the goal of keeping Alberta competitive and Albertans working.
That transportation infrastructure, I should say, has always been basically, I believe, a wealth builder. So it's an economic enabler in our province. We've, through our Premier, has always said, we're going to keep our infrastructure going in this province. We're really going to make sure that we have the right infrastructure in place when we move ahead. And also right now, of course, it's the right time to build because we're getting a little better pricing.
Despite weather challenges over the summer, more than 1,500 kilometers of road was paved across Alberta. Albertans can now see information about worksite injuries and fatalities involving more than 140,000 employers insured by the Workers' Compensation Board. The release of these records is part of government's 10-point plan for achieving greater transparency and accountability for occupational health and safety in the province.
Often when we think of taking a new job, we think of how much are we going to get paid an hour, how many weeks of vacation are we going to take, but we never have the ability of checking how safe am I going to be? Am I going to come back home to my family at the end of the shift? Am I taking a chance of injuring or maiming myself? I think those are more important considerations than salary and vacations, and now you'll be able to look that up for yourself as an Albertan.
Lukazik says another benefit of having the records readily available is that employers can check to ensure the information is correct. To help them access programs and services, the homeless are now able to get secure Alberta government identification cards. The card is the same as the one currently available to all Albertans who apply for provincial identification but who don't have a driver's license.
course, when you don't have ID, you can't open a bank account, you can't do a lot of things. So this has been opening up some doors for individuals who may have not been able to put their money in the bank or do those kinds of things. So that's what's been very important, is those barriers to finding a job, finding accommodation, with the support of the incredible shelters and the volunteers we have across Alberta. Those are the successes that we're hearing.
The cards are part of the Government of Alberta's plan to address homelessness. In the current budget year, the Alberta government is providing $105 million to support the development and upgrading of more than 1,000 affordable seniors housing spaces across the province. The recent opening of this senior centre in central Alberta is one of 13 projects in 10 communities announced by the province so far this year to meet a growing demand.
Today, there are more than 400,000 seniors in Alberta. You know, when I first started this job, I was saying 370,000. Now I'm saying 400,000. That's how fast our seniors are growing, our numbers. And by 2016, there will be over 500,000 seniors in Alberta. And soon after that, I think this is a really interesting fact, there will be more grandparents than grandchildren.
And finally, November brings Remembrance Day, and a time for all of us to honor those who served and died for our country and for our way of life. Hundreds of Albertans from all walks of life and all ages, including dignitaries and school children, and other Albertans were on hand at the Alberta Legislature for a ceremony marking the presentation of the first poppy in advance of Remembrance Day this year. And that's it for this edition of Your Alberta Online. Your Alberta Online is now on Twitter and Facebook. Tune in next time for more on action underway to improve healthcare, as well as legislation being debated in the fall session. Thanks for joining us.